Hi and welcome back to the second part of the MDriven starter course. So let's get started. So this is assignment 41. Open the location where you saved your file and make a copy in a subfolder. So this is mainly so that you know what you have for now. So you can go back to that. Let's see how we would do that. I'll go File, Show Current Model Directory. And I will make a subfolder and call that tasks up to 40. I will copy the modeler file and also the start prototype data XML, because these are the values that you see in the debugger, the instances of the classes in the model. Copy, paste. So now I have it for later use. 42, create a new class, class 1 on the diagram next to person. Right click, add class, class 1. Drag on a relation or association. These are synonyms to each other. Well, not strict synonyms, but more or less. So from class 1 to person. Remember, choose this tool. Now it's selected from class to person. Find class 1 in the tree and double click to see auto diagram. Note the relation. Go back to diagram, select the relation by clicking the line, press delete key. So I can go back to diagram this way. Select the relation, pressing delete. Delete key only removes relation from the diagram, not from the model. Search for class 1 in the tree, click up auto diagram, note that it's still there. Class 1. So the relation is still here, but not here. Go back to diagram, right click, new class. Oh, that should be class 1. Find, introduce and remove, reintroduce, removed association. Click it. I go here, right click, introduce and remove, reintroduce removed associations. Now it's there again. Select the end of the association. Note the blue circle. While pressing Control key, click and hold the association end. Hold and drag association end and let it go when you're over car. You have now moved an association. So, hovering over it, I can see that I get a blue circle. Pressing Control, clicking, it now is decoupled. I can let it go over here. (49). Check the auto diagram and click the different classes and make sure it says the same thing as the diagram. Go back and forth a few times and move the association ends of this relation. So now the class 1 points to car. Car points back to class 1, of course, and also to person. Now car only points to person. Person points to class 1 and to car. Select class 1, press delete key. Check tree and auto diagram. It's still in the model. Delete key only remove things from the diagram, not from the model. Diagram, class 1, delete. It's gone from here, but it's still here. Find class 1 in the tree, click and drag it onto the diagram surface. Class 1. Now it's here again. Note that even its associations reappear. 52. To delete something from a diagram, you must press Control Delete from a diagram and the model. You must press Control Delete. Select the association by clicking the line. Press Control Delete to delete. Check tree, check auto diagram that it's gone. Select, pressing Control, pressing Delete. Now when I go into class 1, it's all alone. Person, it only points to car, it's gone. Sometimes you want a relation from a class back to the same class. Create a relation by selecting the tool, click, hold, drag on class 1, let go of the mouse over open diagram space. Note the via point. Move the mouse to yet a new position in open diagram space. Click to add yet a via point. From here, move mouse back over class 1. Click again. Note the relation to self has been created. Let's see. So, going into the tool mode to create association. Now it's selected. Clicking on class 1, holding, dragging, letting go, moving, clicking, dragging, no, letting go, dragging, and clicking. So now we have a relation to self. Check the auto diagram. Note that class 1 now appears twice when shown. Class 1, class 1, class 1, class 1. Actually, it appears 3 times because this one, class 1, is class children, and from there, class 1 to class 1 has a relation to class children as well. So it will look like this when you have a relation to self. This is actually the same relation, but it's flipped in the direction. The auto diagram always shows the selected class and its surroundings. A diagram only shows the things from your model you explicitly. The auto diagram always shows the selected class and its surroundings completely. A diagram, on the other hand, only shows the things from your model you explicitly have added to it, the diagram. 56. In the diagram, In class 1, add 2 new attributes. Select attribute 1. Select attribute 1, press the delete key. Note that it disappears. Check auto diagram. It still shows 2 attributes. Let's see. In diagram, add attribute, selecting this one, pressing delete, checking the auto diagram, it still has 2 attributes. I can find the diagram here. Whenever I see an auto diagram, I can see shortcuts to where this also, on what diagrams it's shown. Go back to diagram by using back and forth arrows next to play button in toolbar. Okay, we didn't do that. These. Press Ctrl Z for undo. Note that attribute 1 reappears. Can go here as well. Ctrl Z. Can also do redo with Ctrl Y. Right click class 1, find features, pick shown features, find attribute 1 and move it back to show. Close the dialog, note that attribute 1 is now back in diagram class 1 display. Class features, pick shown features, attributes, attribute 1, picked attributes is only 2. It's going to move all attributes back to shown. Okay. '61. Select class 1, press Ctrl delete. Now class 1 is deleted and it deleted its attributes and associations as well. Class 1 selected, Ctrl delete. Class 1 nowhere to be found. 62. Create a new class, name it brand of car. Remember to save your model often, Ctrl S. Right click, add class, brand of car. Save. Save. 63. Add an attribute of type string called name. Ctrl A will add an attribute, name. Drag an association from brand to car. Note that the multiplicity marking on the association should say that car can have 0 to 1 brand and brand has 0 to many cars. Association. So brand of car, many cars, car, only 1 brand of car. If this somehow turned out wrong, you can simply change this by typing 0 to 1, 0 to star, but I don't want that. Now it's wrong. Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. Save. '65. Open the debugger, add brand instances. Name them Volvo, BMW, isn't that AW? BMW and Tesla. Save the debugger data. XML, start system, debugger. was large. Pick class, brand of car, seeker, create new, 1, 2, 3, open it. Volvo, close it. BMW, close it. Tesla, close it. Save the debugger data. Okay, 66. In the debugger, open Autoform of a car. Note the new ability to assign a brand. Use it to assign brand. Save the data. Car, seeker, search, picking up this one. So now we have this new ability, brand of car, 3 dots, search, this is seeker of brand of car. I'm gonna pick Volvo for this one. Okay, now this one is pointing to the object Volvo. I'm gonna close that one, pick this one, 3 dots, search, BMW, okay, close, pick this one, brand of car, 3 dots, search, Tesla, okay, save. '67. Go back to diagram, close debugger and run dialog. Select the car. In property inspection, find default string representation. Press the three dots to open Ocl Editor. Right, let's start with this one. Closing this. Closing system prototyper. Now I'm here. Select car. In the property inspector, find default string representation. Pressing the 3 dots, I get the Ocl editor of default string representation of car. Ocl is a language that allows you to navigate and pinpoint everything in the model. You can write freehand Ocl, or you can use the context help of the Ocl editor. All snippets of Ocl code are called expressions. Expressions are just like math functions, but for information and not only numbers. The information you use in the expressions must be present in your model. This makes it easy to ensure that all expressions are valid. When you save the model, we start a validation, and you will see a red dot when in error. Ocl is object oriented, and the self or this variable, common to all object oriented languages, that one of Ocl is called self. So we will write this self registration number plus then a hyphen for string. So strings are represented like this. Here comes a string constant of type, end string constant, plus, this is just concatenating the strings, self. So this is self in the context where I am as a car. So this will be a car object. Follow the link to brand of car and take the attribute of that. In the expression for default string representation, we should write this. So we have it open here. The context is car. The required return type is a string. So I'm gonna go self dot registration number. It helps me a bit. Good. Plus string constant start of type and space to make it nice, plus what? Self dot. This is a role association. So role association or relation. That's all synonyms in this world. Brand of car. It says that this isn't valid because there is no version of plus that takes string, which is this, and brand of car. Why is that? Well, we need the name as well. The name of the brand of car. Now it's okay. Okay. Save. Okay, the Ocl Editor, save. Check for red dots. We didn't see any red dots. Try to introduce an error by saving name 2 instead of name. Then save. Name 2. This is obviously wrong, but I'm gonna key it anyway. I'm gonna save it. Now we see a red dot here. Default string representation on car. Name 2 is not a member of brand of car. Okay, so I click that one and this one is selected for me, and I can see that the default string representation should be fixed. Fixing it, saving, and the error is gone. I don't need to save to index this. I can run it like this, but whenever you save, this will start. Fix the issue. Okay. 68. The default string representation of an object is used whenever we are not explicit with an attribute and we need a representation in string form of the object. The debugger autoforms use this. Go into debugger and see header of autoforms following your rule from above. Play XML start system debugger. Car, seeker, search. Old car 1 of type Volvo. So this is our text, this is our doing. If we go to open the brand here and follow the link back to all the cars that have our brand. Yeah, won't see much of that here. Okay, never mind. So 69. OCL is short for Object Constraint Language, and many simple OCL tools use OCL only for constraints. In MDriven we use OCL for almost everything. But we will check how constraints work in MDriven. Go to car, find constraint in property inspector, click the 3 dots, add a new constraint. Go to car, constraints, 3 dots, create a new constraint 1, body OCL. What's it gonna be? The OCL expression of a constraint should validate to true, otherwise the constraint is broken. Broken, that's still okay, it's just a signal that we should say something to the user when the constraint is broken. Add the constraint expression self brand of car not empty. This means that we will be true if we have a brand associated and false if we do not. Self dot brand of car arrow not empty. Syntax is okay. System boolean is returned. That's the required return type. So new constraint 1 has this expression. Enter the description of the constraint. Cars must have a brand. Cars must have a brand. Say that this is of type warning. Error level warning. Close. Save. Going back to debugger. Car. Seeker. Search. Here we can see the constraints. We can also see that this checkbox isn't checked. It isn't broken. So check what happens when an object breaks the constraint. Remove the brand of the car. Brand of car, unlink. Now this constraint is broken. Save. So 71. In MDriven we can design view models that use OCL expressions to build information elements that can be presented to a user. There's a quick way to just do the default and show everything. It's called AutoForms. Right-click the diagram surface, find AutoForms, create refresh AutoForms. Note the tree is filled up with view models and actions, all tagged with AutoForm. Right-clicking the model surface, AutoForms, create refresh AutoForm. Note that we got view models that we didn't have before, AutoForms. We also got actions that we didn't have before. Right-click diagram surface, find AutoForms, drop AutoForms. Note that the tree is cleared of actions and view models tagged with AutoForm, because if we have our own, those won't be dropped this way. AutoForms, drop AutoForms. So things disappeared. 73. Add back the AutoForms and press play. Now instead of debugger, pick run model and continue modeling. Familiar yourself with the menu and forms. Note that this system is the same uses the same data as in the debugger. Adding back the AutoForms. Create and refresh AutoForms. I'm saving that, pressing play, XML, start system, but instead of debugger, I do run model and continue modeling. AutoForms, AutoForm brand of car, seeker, search. Here are my brands of cars. I can double click Volvo and I can edit Volvo to something else. If I do, there's a button to save that. I'm gonna use that. No, so I'm gonna revert it. Autoforms, car seeker, search. So here are my cars. If I bring one up, I can see that default string representation is used here. Old car, which is this one, of type. Oh, it doesn't have a brand, so I could probably set one. Search. This is gonna be a Tesla, and OK on this one. So now it's a Tesla, and this one says old car of type Tesla. If I were to change the registration number to something else, that would update here as well. So basically all the objects in the model will pop up as their own autoform. So 74. Autoforms is just the beginning, but even so they may feel a bit clunky. You can reduce the clunkiness by setting properties in the model. For example, select association and brand of car, and in Property Inspector find autoforms. Change value from search and pick to combo box. Brand of car, autoforms, search and pick, switching to combo box. Autoforms create refresh autoforms, then save model. I need to recreate whenever I do major changes to the model that I want to pop up in the autoforms. Autoforms, create and refresh autoforms, saving the model. Switch back to VecPof window, the running window, that can be kept open while changing the model. So this one has been kept open. Press model refresh. Model refresh. Note the different way to assign a brand. So now I go like this. BMW. Volvo. 75. Assign a null brand. Do you see the broken constraint? Cars must have a brand. Save. So call it a day for now. A few more points. We are covering good ground and you're doing great. See you soon.